What if a new law could change the way grocery stores operate in your city? This isn't a hypothetical question for residents of San Francisco. The city's legislative body is considering a bold new law that could significantly change the grocery store landscape within the city. The proposed legislation mandates a 6-month notice before any grocery store can close its doors, but it doesn't stop there. The law also requires these stores to actively search for a replacement to take over the space. This isn't a decision made on a whim. It's a result of increasing concerns over the crucial role these establishments play in the local economy and the need to ensure uninterrupted access to food supplies for residents. Imagine the ripple effect this could have. It's not just about keeping the lights on at your local grocery store. It's about maintaining the vibrancy and resilience of local communities. It's about acknowledging the pivotal role these stores play, not just as a place to buy groceries, but as community hubs, sources of employment, and integral parts of the economic ecosystem. This legislation is a response to the broader context of grocery stores' importance being recognized nationwide. As cities across America grapple with issues of inequality, access to essential services, and economic sustainability, similar initiatives may emerge. This could lead to a reevaluation of the balance between free market principles and public interest mandates. But let's not forget the challenges. Critics argue that such measures could exacerbate the difficulties faced by businesses in an already tough operating environment marked by high crime rates and regulatory burdens. They fear the law might deter new entrants and investment in the retail sector, making it more challenging for grocery stores to cease operations without substantial foreplanning and community consideration. This legislation is not just about grocery stores, but about the very fabric of our communities. It's a response to a reality that's becoming increasingly clear. Businesses, especially those deemed essential, are part of the societal infrastructure. And it's high time that we start treating them as such. At the same time, a national debate is raging over grocery pricing. President Biden has recently turned a critical eye towards the grocery sector, accusing it of exploiting American families with inflated prices. This criticism comes at a time when the cost of living in the United States is a pressing concern for many. The president's rebuke of grocery stores is part of a broader campaign against high costs and junk fees that are impacting various sectors of the economy. In response to these allegations, the Biden administration is applying significant pressure on food retailers to lower their prices. This move is seen as a measure to ease the financial burden on American families, many of whom are struggling to make ends meet amidst rising living costs. The administration's actions are a clear signal of its intent to intervene in sectors that it believes are contributing to these high costs. Interestingly, this national concern over grocery pricing coincides with San Francisco's proposed law. A city known for its high cost of living, San Francisco is taking steps to ensure its residents have uninterrupted access to food supplies. The proposed legislation calls for grocery stores to provide a 6-month notice before shutting down and to actively seek a replacement store to take over the space. This initiative stems from a broader concern over the essential role of grocery stores in the local economy and community. So we have a city taking legislative action to protect its food supply and a national administration pushing for lower grocery prices. These events are not isolated, but rather they are interconnected pieces of a larger picture. They reflect a growing scrutiny of the grocery sector and its practices, both at a local and national level. This confluence of local and national scrutiny signals potential changes for businesses across the country. As governments intervene to protect their citizens and address high costs, businesses, particularly those deemed essential, may find themselves navigating a new operational landscape. And this landscape is one where regulatory and social pressures are as much a part of doing business as supply and demand. These developments could spell a new era for brick-and-mortar businesses. In the city by the Bay, San Francisco, a legislative initiative is underway that could significantly change the game for businesses, particularly those deemed essential to the economy. The proposed law that mandates grocery stores to provide a 6-month notice before closing down and actively seek a replacement store to take over the space is a clear indication of this change. This initiative isn't just about preventing sudden grocery store closures. It's about acknowledging the vital role these establishments play in the local economy and ensuring uninterrupted access to food supplies for city residents. It's about recognizing that businesses, especially those providing essential services, have a responsibility towards the communities they serve. But with this recognition comes new challenges. Business owners may need to navigate an evolving regulatory landscape that could impose new operational constraints and responsibilities, and these constraints won't just be about the bottom line. They'll be about ensuring continuity of service, about planning for the future, and about working with communities to ensure their needs are met. The proposed law is a reflection of a broader trend of increasing regulation and intervention in business practices. This is especially true in sectors deemed critical to public welfare. As cities across America grapple with issues of inequality, access to essential services, and economic sustainability, similar initiatives could emerge. These developments signal a shift in the balance between free market principles and public interest mandates. It's a shift that could redefine the way businesses operate, particularly in urban centers. It's a shift that could force businesses to consider not just profits, but also their impact on the communities they serve. But it's also a shift that comes with its own set of challenges. Businesses will need to adapt to new operational realities. They'll need to factor in potential regulatory changes when making strategic decisions, and they'll need to find ways to balance their responsibilities towards their shareholders and their obligations towards their communities. The future of business in urban America may hinge on navigating this evolving regulatory landscape. But what will be the ripple effects of this legislation? One of the potential impacts that stand out is the possible deterrent effect on new entrants and investment in the retail sector. The proposition of a grocery store having to give a 6-month notice before closing down and actively seeking a replacement could be seen as a substantial hurdle for new players. It's not just about the operational costs, it's about the uncertainty and the potential for unforeseen complications. The business environment, as they say, despises uncertainty. This level of regulation might make San Francisco's grocery sector less attractive to investors who are always on the lookout for more flexible and business-friendly environments. This could lead to a decrease in the variety of stores available to consumers, and paradoxically, an increase in prices due to reduced competition. Critics argue that such measures could exacerbate the challenges faced by businesses in an already tough operating environment marked by high crime rates and regulatory burdens. On the flip side of the coin is the purpose of the law: to protect public interests. Grocery stores are not just businesses, they are lifelines for communities, providing essential access to food and other necessities. The law aims to ensure that these lifelines aren't abruptly cut off, leaving residents scrambling for alternatives, especially in neighborhoods where grocery options may already be limited. This is a clear example of a government stepping in to protect the public from potential market failures. It's a way of saying, yes, businesses have their autonomy, but not at the expense of the community's well-being. But this brings us to an essential question, one that is not just confined to San Francisco or the grocery sector, but is being asked across America and indeed the world. How do we strike the right balance between allowing businesses to operate freely and ensuring that the public's interests are protected? This is a question that doesn't have a one-size-fits-all answer, and it's a question that is leading to a reevaluation of the balance between free market principles and public interest mandates. The balance between free market principles and public interest mandates is being reevaluated. As societal expectations evolve, so too must our businesses. In urban America, the landscape is shifting. The rules of the game are changing, and businesses need to adapt to this new reality. This is a reality where market forces coexist with public interest mandates, a reality where regulatory pressures are mounting and jurisdictions are showing an increased willingness to intervene in the market. Operating in such an environment requires strategic considerations. Businesses must strike a balance between their commercial objectives and the societal expectations placed upon them. They need to navigate these complexities, while ensuring their operations remain viable and competitive. In this new era, we may see a shift in business paradigms. The future may not be about who can outperform the competition, but who can work most effectively within a framework of shared societal values and public interest objectives. The future of urban business may be less about competition and more about collaboration. San Francisco's proposed law is more than a local ordinance. It's a mirror reflecting a nationwide dialogue about the intricate dance between business operations, public welfare, and government regulation. The law echoes a growing sentiment that the free market, while a powerful engine for innovation and growth, may need a guiding hand to ensure it serves the broader public interest. It's a manifestation of the questions being asked in city halls and boardrooms across the country. What is the role of business in society? How far should government intervention go? What responsibilities do corporations have to the communities they serve? The answers to these questions will shape the future of American business. And as the nation watches the Golden City experiment with its grocery store legislation, the outcomes will offer valuable insights. As America navigates these complex waters, the lessons learned in San Francisco may shape the future of business across the nation.